ruining the world. You've got the Muslims who are basically in charge of NASA that have pretty much killed it because of Obama, and the ones in the Middle East that want to butcher anything that thinks differently from them.
All right, but my point is not about Muslims or Islam around the world. I'm focused only on the United States of America, and I made a revolutionary statement, which is to take the violence out of the Quran. Any Quran brought into America, anyone taught that you should kill homosexuals, anyone who is teaching that you should kill adulterers, anyone who teaches that you should kill, let us say, how do you put it, witchcraft, if you want to put it that way. It's really basically anyone doing anything but religion. Because it was competition for the healers and the religious people in those days. They didn't want competition from astrologers. They didn't want any competition from anybody who did anything but teach their holy books. They said kill them, that's all. So I'm saying anyone who teaches that is not teaching a religion, they're teaching hatred. And I think it's time for us to analyze this.
Back then, when they
I'm sending you a copy of Countdown to Mecca. Don't show it to anyone in your neighborhood. James, I know this is a controversial statement, and I know that many people are going to be infuriated by this, and I didn't do it to infuriate you. I did it to enlighten you. And I will repeat what I said at the beginning of this segment. Every once in a while, things happen in your life where you know why you were created. And you know why you were born, and you know what you were created to do. Today is one of those days. I just had a moment in my radio career that I know I was created for. And that was to have, I don't think it's going to have any effect on Muslims whatsoever. Not one iota will have effect on Muslims. They live in their own world. They're insular. They will take any such suggestion as racism. They'll come up with the standard garbage. I'm actually appealing to the Orthodox Jews to look inside their own religion. Because if you read Leviticus, which I avoid like the plague because it's filled with discussions of the plague, it's of all of the original books, the 10 books of Moses, Leviticus is the one filled with all of the hate. There's some beautiful stuff in there, such as thou shalt not oppress thy neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of a hired servant shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but thou shalt fear thy God. I am the Lord. So there's some beautiful statements in Leviticus. It also says, and if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, you shall not do him wrong. There's some beautiful things in there. Thou shalt not take vengeance, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Well, that means Jews. But I guess you can have a grudge and vengeance against non-Jews. I don't particularly like that one. Now, then they say kill. If a man lie with mankind as with womankind, both of them have committed abomination, they shall surely be put to death. How can you argue that that should still be taught? You may find such behavior disgusting and ungodly, and you have every right to believe that, but I don't believe it should be taught that they should be killed, because there are those who follow it literally in the Muslim religion. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall slay the beast. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a shameful thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. And they go on and on. It's amazing when you look at this stuff, but if you read it in context of the history of the time in which it was written 5,000 years ago, was a desert people. It was a much smaller body of people. And they needed laws to protect themselves against incest. I need a law to protect me from incense when I go to San Francisco. They needed laws to protect themselves from incest and such things, and they didn't want people becoming gay because it was a threat to the survival of the tribe. They certainly didn't want adultery because it would lead to the homicide between the men involved with that woman. So they had common sense laws as written in Leviticus, whether it was by God or by wise men. I don't have the answer for you. Jewish people believe it was the word of God. I'm not so sure it was all the word of God, nor does it matter what I think because I'm only a man. And the name Michael means who is like God, and I'm not like God. I'm only a man. So don't think I'm confusing myself with being godlike. I'm confusing myself with nobody. I am just a rationalist. I'm a thinking man. I'm a modern man. I live in this world, and I see what's going on in this world right now in real time as a result of Muslims who are slaughtering everybody around them, including fellow Muslims who are not fanatical enough for them. And I'm saying we better start cleaning up their act right in this country before it's too late. Since Osama bin Obama is bringing them in as fast as he can from Africa and dispersing them in as many Christian communities as he can, I think it's time that we talk to Osama bin Obama about what their holy book is teaching them to do with the Christians in their view. And that's all I have to say on this subject. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. I just read it. And if a man lie with mankind as with womankind, both of them have committed abomination, they shall surely be put to death. Now, no Jew practices that, but it's in their holy book, in Leviticus, one of the 10 books of Moses. And they don't need a reformation. They know not to do it. But I'm saying that there are millions of Muslims who read the Quran, which has a similar prohibition against homosexuality, and they kill gays. And I'm saying it's time to consider eliminating such hateful statements from Bibles, whether they be the Old Testament or the Quran. Now, I realize how controversial this is. I get it. This does not apply to the Christian holy book because you won't find anything about killing people in it. It does not apply to the teachings of Buddha, because I've read the entire teachings of Buddha. I can't find one reference to killing anybody. It's all about the way. I've not found it in any of the Hindu scriptures that I've read, and I'm no expert on any of those, but as an educated man, I felt it my obligation to read the holy literature of the 5 principal religions of the world. And there's only one religion that actually acts out the teachings of thousands of years ago. And there's another religion that reads it and chants it every day, but doesn't act it out. And I'm saying that in the United States of America, we have to look at this. There's only so much the human species can take of this hatred and this confusion. And we have to evolve. And I realize how controversial this is. And I realize this is the most revolutionary suggestion I've ever made in the history of radio. And I will be here with God's will for another hour on your local station, except for the few that drop me against my will, to discuss this most important topic in the history of the Savage Nation. It all started when someone said "Countdown to Mecca" scared Muslims in a hotel lobby.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning: the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
The religion of Christianity, you look at the great works of art, and you look at the great science produced by people who have practiced modern Christianity, and you have to ask yourself with tears in your eyes, how could we be importing into this country people who bring a holy book which preaches nothing but hatred and destruction? What sane nation on earth would do this to themselves? Well, the answer, of course, is no sane nation would do this to themselves. No sane nation would bust their borders and let infected children to come in by the trainload. No sane nation would permit a devious man in the White House who has decimated the whole meaning of the word nationhood to continue to do this. No sane nation would do this, would they? So we, the people, still have some freedoms left, and one of the freedoms I have is freedom of speech. And in my ramblings today on the Savage Nation, I had a caller in the last hour who said that he took a copy of my novel, Countdown to Mecca, to a hotel lobby. He was reading it in Mississippi, and there was a Muslim couple with some nice children, and he was smiling at the children. They smiled at him, and as they left the hotel, they glanced at the title of the book, my novel, and they became... I don't know what he said. They got frightened and ran out of the hotel. I guess they didn't understand that the book is against blowing up Mecca, but okay, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is I'm more frightened of their Quran than they should be of my novel, Countdown to Mecca, because I call not for the destruction of Mecca during a Hajj, but the exact opposite if you actually read the book. That led me to looking at religion per se and the holy books that are teaching such hatred. And you see millions, tens of millions of young people in the Muslim worlds being taught such hatred, inculcated, brainwashed, beaten into their heads every day and over and over and over. What are they being taught? Why do you think they kill homosexuals? Why do they stone adulterous women to death? Because they're taught to do it in their holy book. So I say, well, look, I can't control what goes on in Shmakistan or Pakistan or Hakistan or Rakistan, but at least in America we can talk about what the heck do you call a holy book? You mean a holy book says kill somebody, that's a holy book? By definition, it's not a religion. By definition, it's not a holy book. It's something else. It's not a religion. See, I never understood. What is a religion? Tell me what a religion is. What is a religion for? To me, a religion is to put people on the righteous path. So what is the righteous path? Well, boil it down to one statement. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's about it. There's kind of not one religion on earth that doesn't teach that except Islam. Every other religion on earth teaches you, do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. And that says it all, summarizes it all. The rest is just commentary. So I'm saying, look, it's the year 2015. There are people being blown up and killed around the globe because they're being brainwashed. Killing gays, killing adulterers, killing pigeon breeders. Do you know that this son of a piece of garbage has killed young boys for flying pigeons in the land that ISIS has occupied in Iraq and Syria? This psychotic, this Hitler in a headscarf has killed young boys because they say that breeding birds offends Islam. They're sick. They're sick in the head. And Muslims know that. That's why Muslims are fighting them more vociferously than our two-faced president. The Muslim from Jordan is fighting them. The Muslim who runs Egypt, the most populous Muslim nation on earth, is fighting ISIS, but not us. No, we have our men in our flying machines flying around targets for days on end, and we don't fire a rocket. Why? Because the sorority doesn't want to prosecute ISIS. But I want to put that aside. I want to focus on my revolutionary statement that violence should be purged from any holy book that has it in there, in America. I don't care what you do outside of America. Now, before we go to this discussion again, I want to direct you to michaelsavage.com, where I will be posting a 12-minute segment on this from the last hour for you to listen tonight and send to friends. I want you to start a discussion on it. Right now, it's not up yet. It takes a while to get it done. But there is a link. No one else in the media has this yet. It says, see who was arrested in the child sex sting. And my guys worked on this all night long, and they got the names and pictures of every one of these lowlifes who was, let us say, set up by the FBI, local police, to have sex with minors. It's a sickening array of individuals. And amongst them is a Council on American Islamic Relations leader who ran the youth division. Oh, yeah. Ahmed Abbas Salim of Orlando, Florida, charged with travel to meet minor for sex, unlawful use of a two-way communications device. His occupation is coordinator for care. Employer is Care of Orlando. Traveled to UC location to have sex with 12-year-old girl. Had an Invest in Kids specialty tag on his license plate. So you can go there and look at the names of him and Abraham Goodman and the others and look at it and weep. And now we'll go back to my revolutionary statement. Let's go to GDJ Radio. Chris, welcome to the Savage Nation. Make your comment, please.
Mike, I just want to tell you, this is a revolutionary day in radio. I've been waiting for this day for years.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but explain to the audience what you've been waiting for.
Well, I called you up 3 or 4 months ago, and I said that Leviticus is a little squirrely, and you are the first man of stature to come out. I know you know him, and
I love Alex Jones's show. I think he's really great.
He is great, and you have just trumped Alex Jones, because what we need is somebody like you, and you've done it today. You have just exalted my spirit. I just can't tell you what